welcome back to Liquid Lunch. Of course, that's Never Ending White Lights and Daniel Victor coming up in a little bit here on Liquid Lunch. We're here now with Hannah McKinnon, though, from Pooling People. Is that the name of the company, Hannah?
Pooling People Inc. Yes, that's right.
And it's a new concept.
Yes, it is.
Isn't it?
Yes,
so let's,
it is.
I mean, Pooling People sort of evokes perhaps some sense of it, but maybe you can describe exactly what the concept is.
Well, in very simple terms, it's an online business-to-business community that connects overstaffed and understaffed companies so they can more effectively manage their human resources. And there are two ways to do that. Either they can temporarily borrow and lend employees when they're overstaffed and understaffed for a short period of time, temporarily, or if they're permanently overstaffed, they can make their candidates, their people, available to other people within the community, other companies within the community. So they can help the employees that they're laying off find alternative employment far quicker. And for the companies taking them on, it's much more cost effective than traditional recruitment methods.
Because they know what they're getting. Yeah, they know what they're getting, and they've got hopefully some good references that they can...
and no recruitment fees.
Yeah, exactly. So where did this concept come from?
Well, it was an idea actually sparked through a family discussion many, many years ago, where my father, who was an architect, observed from the building industry that there's a company on the one hand that's got a project that's been delayed, the plumbers didn't come in, the electricians can't go and do their job. And on the other hand, you have a company that needs an electrician and can't find somebody.
Right.
Wouldn't it make sense for those two businesses to connect directly? And some companies already do this you know, informally, so we're trying to put a bit more structure around it. So that started off with the temp side, but then we got very excited about the permanent side as well. Why not offer both possibilities to companies to use it for both situations?
Now, I can see how that works in the construction industry, right? Or, you know, but I'm assuming that different industries would have a different need for it. It would make more sense in some sectors than in others. Is
yes. I think for the temporary borrowing and lending, you're probably going to be looking at industries that are more project related, or manufacturing is a classic one, the ups and downs, the order book's very full and then a month later it isn't, and they have excess capacity. What do they do with them? Do they lay people off and hope that they can recruit them again later? It's risky, because if they found another job, those people are gone. You've lost their experience and their talent. So the other option is to accept that you have some downtime, some idle time, and to continue keeping your people on payroll, but it really affects your bottom line. So this offers an alternative, a different method, a new way of approaching a very old problem. But yes, for the temporary lending and borrowing, there are certain industries where it might not be applicable. For the permanent transfer of employees, it really is applicable to every single industry and every single role.
Because every industry is laying off.
And every industry is hiring somewhere, normally. And one man's or one company's person might not fit into one company perfectly, but it does in another. So just because you're laying somebody off, it doesn't mean that they're not a good worker, right?
And how do you find them, and how do they find you?
Well, the companies that I'm finding are through networking events. Such as last week, Donna Messer's ConnectUsCanada.com, her Leads, Needs and Good Deeds event. I was there. That was very good, very positive. We've done some advertising. We've done quite a bit of networking predominantly, in various press releases have gone out. There's been quite a lot of interest from the press, actually. We've had articles in 9 national newspapers all the way from New Brunswick to BC, because it's a new and different concept. And somebody said to me, wow, this is just it's a forehead slapper, you know, why hasn't this been done before? It just makes so much sense. So we're trying to make companies' lives and employees' lives a bit easier.
Okay, now what's your background? I understand the concept came from the experience your dad had running as an architect.
Yes,
but,
that's right.
You know, what's your background?
Well, I spent the last 15 years working within the IT recruitment industry in Europe. I ran an IT recruitment company that had operations in Switzerland, the UK, Netherlands and Germany. So I'm a bit of a veteran when it comes to the recruitment industry. So that's really my background, bachelor's in business management and administration, and stumbled into the world of recruitment quite by accident, really, at a wine festival. As
So
you
you're
do.
kind of taking your personal experience with your dad
Yes.
and your professional career experience in the recruiting industry and just kind of putting those two concepts
Yes,
together, right?
exactly. The recruitment industry hasn't really seen anything new and exciting. Job boards are popping up, fine, LinkedIn, Facebook, and so forth, but there hasn't really been anything new and exciting for eons, really, in industry terms. So we thought it was just time to give companies a more cost-effective, different option, and one that when companies are overstaffed, whether it's permanently or temporarily, that they actually have a solution. Because job boards, social media, social networking sites, recruitment agencies don't actually offer that. And we thought, well, it's part of the whole process. You can't just be there when you need people. You've also got to be there when companies have excess staff. How can we do that? And we came up with this very simple solution.
What about headhunters? How does your company compare to that? Headhunters usually with individuals who are looking for new jobs?
Yes. Headhunters, you'll have a recruitment company, or call it a headhunter, that will obtain a specific requirement from a company, a specific position to fill, and they will then go out into the marketplace and network and use their contacts to find candidates for that position. It can be very effective. I'm certainly not going to sit here and knock the recruitment companies. I ran one. I know that there are some very, very good players out there, absolutely. The difference with Pooling People is that we are not a recruitment company. We are not another resume database. We're a facilitator. We provide the online space for these companies to connect directly. A headhunter will charge, depending on the position, anywhere north of 20 to 30, sometimes more % of an annual salary for their work. Sometimes it'll be a success fee only. Sometimes they'll already charge you up front for starting to do the work. A third upon the order, a third when they present candidates, a third upon completion, for example. So it's very expensive. We offer our service, we're based on membership fees. A company can sign up for $250 and use the website to find people and to register their excess staff for a whole year. So it really doesn't compare. I guess for very high level positions, I don't think we're going to see the pooling of CEOs on Pooling People. Unlikely, you never know. Maybe we'll go to PoolingExecutives.ca or something. So it's more for the lower to mid-level roles, I would suggest, certainly for the temp, lending and borrowing. But the permanent transfer, it could really be any level.
So it sounds like you're a bit of a matchmaker, really.
Yeah.
For these companies with excess employees and ones looking for new people.
Yes, in a sense, that's absolutely right. A very cost-effective one where we enable companies to make those connections directly, and who knows where those relationships then might lead. We might find that we connect two businesses on the level for staff, but they might have many other things in common and start working together. You really don't know.
They've already got something in common, and that is the skill set that those employees have that those companies need. So
that's right.
Yeah, that's great.
That's right.
Marla, you were going to say something.
Yeah, well, when I forgot. I can't remember it.
Now you better think fast.
I can't, so take it away.
All right. So now you mentioned a lot of your experience was in Europe.
Yes.
But here you are sitting in Toronto, Canada.
That's right.
What brought you to here?
Well, I met my husband 12 years ago.
Where did you meet him?
On the internet.
Were you drinking tequila at the time?
Were you looking for a job and he was looking to hire?
No, this was completely by accident.
Were you downsizing from one boyfriend and he was looking for a new girlfriend?
No. I was kind of in between.
You were in England and he was in Toronto?
No, I was in Switzerland. He was in St. John in New Brunswick. And now, you have to put this into perspective. 12 years ago, the internet, dial-up modems, you download a picture, it takes forever to downloads in bits.
So when he
Remember
saw the
those
top
days?
of your forehead, he asked you out. But then when he saw the rest, he went, "What have I done?"
No. It was a
Hardly.
it was a
Hardly,
chat
folks.
site. Okay, it was at ICQ. I don't know if either of you
text.
remember that.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
You remember ICQ?
I remember
Oh, yeah.
that.
So it was a chat site. A friend came over, installed the internet, told me about this chat site. My reaction was, "What's a chat site?" This is 12 years ago,
Sure.
so I didn't know. Did some random searches, saw this profile, no photo of Razor, his nickname, 28-year-old Canadian, 12 years ago, so he's
Razor.
40 now.
What was your
Razor,
nickname?
Apple.
3840.
Oh, okay.
And I sent him a message saying, "Hey Razor, you sound pretty sharp." And the rest is history.
Well,
Well, so that little pun got you a marriage.
It certainly did. Marriage and 3 kids, and then he got homesick. After living in Switzerland for 11 years, he moved over after we met, and I always wanted to set up my new company. Thought, well, what should I do? Should it be in recruitment? Should it be something completely different? And remembered the conversation I'd had with my father. So we sat down, not with a bottle of tequila, but a bottle of wine, a notepad, on the terrace one evening, and just started sketching it out, and decided that pooling people was the way to go.
now, how are you finding how's it being received? Because it's a sort of new concept.
Extremely well, actually. We launched just a couple of months ago, so it really is very fresh and really brand new, and very daunting as well. Launching a company with a completely new concept that hasn't been done before in a country where you haven't lived before is not for the faint-hearted.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
Yeah.
But I'm meeting a bunch of great people, our present company included, so it's really quite an adventure. And the feedback I've had so far is 100% positive. As I mentioned, we've had quite a few articles in the press, we've had lots of interest, and everybody I've met so far to whom I've explained the idea said, "Wow, that's a really good idea." 50 plus companies have signed up so far, so we're starting to gain some traction, but it's a question of being able to spread the word fast enough for it to really work. I love the idea. I think it can help individuals, it helps businesses, it helps the government, because people aren't unemployed and receiving unemployment benefits. They can get a new job quicker, you know. So it's really a win-win-win for all parties concerned.
That's great.
Do you work out of your home? Do you work out of your laptop?
For the most part, I'm on the road a lot, out at networking events and meeting people and building relationships, and getting the word out there that this service exists. For the most part, but yes, it's
So who
home-based.
built the website?
That's a local company in Toronto, fantastic company called waldendesign.com. Fantastic, phenomenal, really, really recommended.
Now, although because it's an internet, it's a web-based
Yes,
thing. So,
yes.
are you open to the whole world?
Yes, absolutely. I've started off in the GTA because for perm and for temp, you need to be in a certain geographical area. Having said that, we do have a couple of customers in BC who have made staff available that are also available for remote work. Because if you think about a temporary lending, you could have, say, a draftsman sitting idle in Toronto. A project's been delayed because of permit issues, so he's got less to do than his boss or her boss would like. And you have another firm in BC that is looking for somebody with that skill set. But with today's technology, there's no reason why that person sitting in Toronto can't be on loan and work from their usual place of work in Toronto for the company in BC. Geography really isn't an issue in this instance.
Yeah, and that's a really new phenomenon.
Yes.
With the internet.
Yes.
So many people can work remotely nowadays that it just makes sense to be able to offer this kind of service globally.
Yes.
And it makes sense. It makes it so much easier for companies to, if they have somebody that's excess for the moment,
Yes.
they can easily transition to taking up some slack at another company.
Exactly. And the money that they save, what we suggest is that for a temporary lend, you invoice the lending company remains the employer of the employee, but invoices the borrowing company the cost of the salary. It could be more, could be less. It's really up to the parties to decide. It's not up to pooling people to dictate those terms. But that means that the borrowing company gets a skilled, recommended and qualified person at salary cost, rather than having to pay additional margins and fees of
and the
recruitment
upfront
companies.
one-time costs of taking on a full-time employee.
That's right. Exactly.
So do people contact you and you enter them into your database?
They
or
do
do
that
they enter them?
themselves.
They do it themselves.
They do it themselves.
Is it
yes.
like Linked or whatever, Lincoln or
LinkedIn?
LinkedIn. I never know how to pronounce it, and I always get messages. So
similar concept. So a company can sign up. We're running a free trial as well at the moment. All companies can sign up for 6 months for a free trial. We believe that's the right way to go because it is a new concept. We believe in it, so let companies give it a try, and they can then register the available people depending on their skill set, years of experience. It's really very simple to do. It takes a couple of minutes.
Are there categories?
Yes, there are categories, subcategories. So you might have, for example, trades and then electrician, or finance, accountant, administrative, admin assistant, and so on and so forth. So it's very, very simple to do, and you can select whether they're available permanently or temporarily, part-time, full-time, as of when, until when.
And then they pay by also online?
They also pay online, yes, absolutely.
Now, what if they have a question, they want to speak to a human? Do they get to speak to you?
I don't like voicemail. So whenever the phone rings, and if I'm not on the phone, I will pick it up. Absolutely, absolutely. I'm a big believer in having direct contact, so I will return calls within 24, 48 hours if it's email. In fact, I've had quite a few email inquiries, and I tend to pick up the phone and call them, which surprises people.
I bet. Oh, they would fall off
Not
their
used to
chair.
that.
That's for sure. That would make me actually give my business to somebody if they actually picked up the phone
Absolutely.
and called me back.
So,
Yes.
no, hey, are you going to the Toronto Entrepreneurs Conference?
I am indeed.
What are you going to be doing down there?
Well, I'm going as a visitor. Very much looking forward to seeing the what's on offer, the booths that are there, and maybe we meet Robert Herivek, one of the dragons, I believe. He's also going to be there. I'm sure he's going to be in demand, though, so we'll see if I get to shake his hand. But that's very exciting. I'm very much looking forward to that. May 7th, yes, TorontoEntrepreneurs.ca.
Yeah. That's up at the International Centre.
Oh, near the airport.
Yeah.
Yes.
And now, who should get in touch with you for your companies? What kind of companies or?
Companies, I'd say any companies that are overstaffed. If they're panicking, they see that they have a dip in their order book, they have a dip in workload, or simply they believe that they have people that are on idle time. Say you've hired somebody that's full time, and you only have work for them part time. Either lend them out if it's temporary, or help them find a second part time job through Pooling People. So any company that is understaffed, we're targeting a variety of industries: manufacturing, hospitality, construction, engineering being some of them. And companies that are looking for staff that want to try a different method of finding people. And I think it takes, because it's a new system, I think it's companies that will be a little bit innovative and not concerned that it's new and different. And I'm sure there are companies out there that are innovative and will give this a go.
Absolutely. So, and what's the website?
www.PoolingPeople.ca. POOLING.
Hey, I got to ask you.
People.ca.
So, how do you find that being an international, going for an international marketplace, but the website ends.ca? How do you find that?
Well, initially, I don't think it's really an issue because we're starting off in Canada. Hopefully, we'll spill over into the US, and we'll probably have a .com address.
Yeah.
But I think for a Canadian-based business, initially .ca is
awesome.
where it's at.
Absolutely.
Yay, Canada, eh?
All right.
I did mine .com.
Did you?
Without a thought.
Marla's special.
Oh, well.
No,
It's just
.coms are good too.
.com.
Nothing wrong with .com.
I just have to. Are you aware that there's a movie out there that's opened up worldwide with the name Hannah?
Yes, but it's not spelt the same way.
Oh. Does that make you feel funny? That your name is up in lights all over the place and it's not about you?
Not really, no.
I would feel funny if I saw Marla all over the world.
Marla and her sisters.
Yes, well, Hannah and her sisters. There you go.
That too,
There's a book as well, isn't there?
too.
So,
Yeah.
yes.
All right, Hannah, thanks for coming in today.
My pleasure.
And
Thanks
look
for
forward to
having me.
seeing you at the Toronto Entrepreneurs Conference, TorontoEntrepreneurs.ca, and of course, PoolingPeople.ca to check out.
And don't forget, once you open your own booth at one of these conventions, you can hire
it's all
Marianne
Absolutely.
to help design the booth.
yeah,
Absolutely.
and bring tequila with you.
There you go.
And
to,
Have tequila samples.
Yeah. And then Hugh and I will come again.
Exactly. Okay, we're going to take a little break, come back with Daniel Victor from Never Ending White Lights right after this.
I'm back, mother. Can you hear me? Check 1 2 1 2. I hope you hear me clearly. I'm here to claim my spot on the throne. Clearly, these kids ain't ready. Cutting through the grass of these snakes with my machete. They done throw dirt on my name. I'm blessed, homie. I throw holy water at you lames. I'm 10 years deep and I ain't even played the game. Done messing with these haters. Can't believe a word. I don't trust one of these haters. Put my heart into this shit. This time I want it all. Done reaching out, homie, this time I ain't gon' call. A ride or die, loyalty, honor, respect. And dudes wasn't returning that so I had the jet. No looking back at nothing, came from nothing to something. Feels good to put my mama in some Prada. Look, she's stunting. First album drop, haters zoned on the kid. Now I look around, bunch of clones of the kid. Hated on it, never jaded, but I figure that if I'm gonna go in, I might as well own it. It's my time to shine, I'm on my shiz it in.